I don't know how it came to pass. I think it's because it used to be Aaron Miltberger, and I can't work the sound equipment. I've done this for 3 years running, and I keep wondering now why Massoud keeps asking me, and I wonder what I'm doing right. Last year, I was in a position where I announced that we were expecting the birth of our 4th child, and wouldn't you know it, this year, I'd like to announce that that will not be the case. Kid ain't sleeping through the night yet. Give me a break. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way right off the bat. The joy of being an MC is that I get to yield the floor to people that can say things way better than I can, and to make sure you get to lunch on time. Sound good to you? Yeah. All right. So, without further ado, I'll just let the others who say it better than me have right at it. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Joe Schlebach, our Associated Students and Faculty President.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark, for the introduction. Welcome. Welcome to all of you. I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be a great year. I'm really excited for the new things that are coming and for everything that we've got in place for everybody here. Really, I'm not sure why I'm up here. They told me I was supposed to tell you how smart I am. It's kind of a puzzle for me that they told me that. You know, I'm not exactly the brightest tool in the classroom. I guess I'm one of those people you thought looked a little shy of being intelligent, then opened my mouth and removed all doubt. But anyway, I just want to take a couple seconds to talk a little bit about our rivals, the Western State Colorado Mountaineers. The other day I was wondering how many Mountaineer football players it takes to change a light bulb, and I realized the real question was, Western State has a football team? All right, enough about college. I know you think NSO is all about talking about college, and I know a lot of these great speakers here are going to tell you a lot about how to succeed and how to do well here, and that's going to be great, but I'm going to be up here to talk a little bit more about some different things, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So we're going to talk about playing here in the San Luis Valley, and I've got a list of top 10 things to do while you're at Adams State. Starting with number 10, which is the Colorado Gators. It's a gator farm located beside Highway 17 between Hooper and Mosca. And they've got all kinds of reptiles and, of course, gators. And they have, because they have a lower number of visitors than what a zoo does, they're able to provide you with a better up-close and personal look at some of these animals. It's a really interesting afternoon trip. I would highly advise you to go take a look at the farm. Number 9 is Fort Garland Museum. The Fort Garland was a post back before the Civil War times. Kit Carson was actually commander there. And so they have a great museum there that talks a little bit about how things were during the mid to late 1800s. And it's just a really interesting trip. It's a couple miles east on Highway 160. It's a great place to just go and explore for an afternoon. Number 8, Rio Grande Scenic Railroad. There's a lot of great things that they do there. They have mountaintop concerts. They have several trips. You can go either east over the Lomita Pass, or you can go south over the Cumbres La Manga Pass. And it's just a great way, especially this time of the year. The leaves are about to start changing color. They're starting to just get this great time of the year. Fall is my favorite time of the year, by the way. So it's a great time to go out and to see the mountains. Great trip to take over the pass. Number 7, go swimming outdoors in the winter. Now it gets down to about 40 below here sometimes in the winter. We're actually the coldest city in the continental US. But by the sand dune swimming pool in Hooper, it's fed by a natural hot springs. And so I love to go there swimming when it's cold outside, because you get into that pool and it's nice and toasty warm. And they actually, on Monday nights, from 4 p.m. to closing, it's $4 for high school and college students. So if you have a valid college ID, just go up there, show them your ID, and you get in for $4 on Monday nights after 4 p.m. Number 6, Sand Dunes National Park. They're the tallest sand dunes in North America, and there's so many things to do there. You can go hiking, camping, sand sledding, biking, trail biking, whatever you want to do there. Medano Creek is there that you can play in, although I wouldn't advise that during the winter. Number 5, visit the Colorado National Monument and Rimrock Drive in Grand Junction. It's several hours north of here, northwest, and the name is slightly misleading. President Taft used his executive powers under the Antiquities Act to make it into a monument. And they've looked at making it into a national park. The locals weren't exactly excited about the idea, so they didn't. But it truly deserves to be a national park. And it's a great way to go look. I mean, there's a lot of times you see mountain sheep, eagles, elk, deer, all kinds of stuff, and just take a drive. It's a great place to go hiking, camping, golfing, bicycling, horseback riding, rollerblading, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of things to do there. It's something that I would highly recommend that you do not miss while you're here. Number 4, Wolf Creek Pass Ski Resort. They're on the west side of the mountains in the San Juan Mountains. They have a lot of great opportunities, snowboarding, skiing. They have beginning classes. And if you're from the south and don't know what snow looks like, I'd still advise you to go. You will have fun. I've embarrassed myself on those slopes many times, and I still had fun. Number 3, there's a brand new climbing wall in the Rex Gym. And our Adams State Adventure Program, ASAP, is putting on a brand new opening. It's Rock at the Rex on Wednesday, the 27th at 6 p.m. they start. I would highly recommend that you go. Anybody who is new to campus will get a free 1-year pass to the wall. And it's a great adventure. They have a lot of rock climbing programs as well. They also do hiking trips, camping, all kinds of things. So just go down there, check them out. They have a lot of things. If you're into outdoor stuff, they're absolutely the best contact that you can make. Number 2, the mountains. We're surrounded by mountains. Everywhere you can look. There's so many places to hike and explore, great trails, great places to have a lot of fun, camping, different things like that. I do want to caution you, though, if you're not experienced with the mountains, the weather can get dangerous up there. So just make sure that you have somebody experienced with you, and ASAP is really good at helping you out with that and helping you get some experience in the mountains. Number 1, get involved on campus. There are so many things to do on campus. I can't even start to name everything that's going on. We have clubs, organizations for just about every avenue that you want to take. And if we don't have something that you're interested in, ASNF, the Associated Students and Faculty, is more than willing to help you out with starting a new organization on campus. We're located in the Student Union Building by Student Life in room C105. Just come in and talk to us. We're more than willing to help you get started. And we also have openings for freshman senators and as well as school senators. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in that type of stuff, just come down to see us. We've got packets waiting for you to go. They just told me to warn you about being careful with flammable items in the dorms. Apparently there was a fire over in the Western State football dorms and it burned 20 books. The real tragedy is, though, 15 of them hadn't been colored yet. Thanks, guys. You've been a great audience.
Am I on again? Here I am. Thank you, Joe, for a third time, this time with volume. And also, you can learn things in books. I don't know if you know this yet. It's pretty phenomenal. And one of my favorite quotes that has to do with our orientation theme, the theme of "you are who you want to be," is from Oscar Wilde. He says, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken." It's good advice. Now, to tell you more about what you can learn from books, especially if somebody has the same last name as you, is the director of our library, Carol Smith.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adams State. I am Carol Smith. I am the director of the Nielsen Library, and I look forward to meeting each one of you personally later this afternoon at this afternoon's beach party at Nielsen Library from 1 to 5. Stop by. We're going to have games, contests. We're even going to have a photo booth, so you're making new friends today. Pile in the photo booth and get some fun pictures taken together. There you go. Exactly. And you get hats and feather boas and I just want to take a couple of minutes' time to inform you about the Common Reading Experience program, which is a wonderful annual Adams State tradition that you will be participating in throughout the fall and the spring semester. Every year, the university and the broader San Luis Valley community read the same book at the same time early in the fall semester. This book is selected for a variety of reasons, including themes that resonate with today's issues and concerns, and subject matter that reaches across multiple disciplines. After reading this book, the campus and the community, which now includes all of you, come together in a broad variety of book-related activities and events, including book discussions, lectures, essays, contests, and artistic endeavors. The Common Reading Experience is a way for the entire campus and community to engage in a single conversation, to exchange intellectual thoughts, and it's a great way for new students, and that's you, to learn more about the academic environment and experience here at Adams State. So this year's book is The Other Wes Moore, One Name, Two Fates by Wes Moore. It is, has anyone read it yet? There's a couple of hands, good for you. You can attest to the fact that this is an incredibly compelling true story and a New York Times bestseller. Two kids, both named Wes Moore, were born just blocks apart from each other in Baltimore, Maryland, within a year of each other. Both had difficult, challenging childhoods, but the direction their lives took were very, very different. One Wes Moore became a Rhodes Scholar, a decorated war veteran, a White House Fellow advising Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. He's a successful business entrepreneur. He is a PBS and Oprah Winfrey Network television program host, and he is the author of this best-selling book. The other Wes Moore is currently serving a life term in prison, being convicted of murder. How did their fates take two completely different turns? This is the compelling and fascinating question that you're going to be taking up and discussing with your new colleagues here throughout the fall and the spring semester. So in your new student orientation packets, you will find a colored flyer that looks like this. It might be printed on a different color. It tells you more about the Common Reading Experience program, what you can expect of it, and also what is expected of you. And one thing that is expected of you is that you will acquire the book, and the bookstore over at the Student Union has plenty of copies. We'll also have some copies at the library on reserve. And you need to read it early in the semester so that you can participate fully in classroom discussions, classroom assignments, and extracurricular events and activities that are going to be taking place all over campus. And the signature hallmark event of the Common Reading Experience program will take place right in this hall on Friday evening, October 24th, when the author, Wes Moore, is going to visit campus. And I've been speaking with some individuals this morning that have heard him speak before, and he is an absolutely riveting, dynamic speaker. We're looking forward to this. He is a significant national figure. This is going to be a major event on campus's fall semester, so you should plan to be here for that on October 24th and read the book in advance, because that will make his talk all the more worthwhile. So I look forward to meeting all of you later today, and enjoy your time at Adams State. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. Now, each year, Adams State hosts a green chili cook-off in the middle of September. And because of this event and the entries of one man, who's been a frequent entrant, my children know the president of Adams State University as the chip guy, because they go to his table and steal his tortilla chips. Now, this summer, I took my family to the Renaissance Festival just north of Colorado Springs. Have you been to this? A lot of fun? Okay, it is fun. And I'm walking across the fairway there, or where everything's happening, through the crowds, and I hear, "Hey, Mark." Nobody knows me here. And I look up and I see Dr. David Civaldi. I'm carrying the ubiquitous turkey leg across the Renaissance Festival. And so now Dr. Civaldi is likely to know me, the chip guy, knows me as the turkey guy. So it's my pleasure, as the turkey guy, to introduce the chip guy, Dr. David Civaldi, president of Adams State University.
Good morning. Are you awake? How are those dorm beds? I mean, did you get any sleep last night? A little bit. Okay. Football team, how are those two-a-days going? You like that? No. The rest of you feel fortunate. You don't have to do that stuff. But welcome. We're so excited and happy to have you all here today. It's always a great time on campus to welcome our new incoming first-year students. And I'm a pretty old guy. I'm probably about the age of maybe your grandparents. But not many, many years ago, I sat where you're sitting, in a room very similar to this. It wasn't this room, but it was a room very much like this. And the dean of students stood up, and he looked very serious. Tillman Bishop is his name. He's still alive. He said, "Look to your left, look to your right. 4 years from now, 2 of the 3 of you are going to be gone." And, you know, that didn't exactly fill us all with enthusiasm. This was about the time of the height of the Vietnam War. If you didn't have a student deferment, actually your life was at risk. So this did cause me, at least personally, some concern. Turned out he was correct. 2 of the 3 of us were gone. But I happened to be the survivor. Was I lucky? Really smart? I'm somewhat lucky, and I've had a great life, kind of life I wanted to have, because I went to college and I finished. And you wouldn't have predicted that if you'd known me in high school. I was at best an average high school student, not very good at very many things. I was pretty good at forensics and debate, theater. Yeah, forensics. But I took advantage, I tried to take advantage of the opportunity I had. My message to you is that I'm not all that smart. But I worked hard. I tried to outwork everybody I was around. And I did that basically because I had 3 older brothers who all went to college, and they were all succeeding. And they said, "Dave, you better not screw up, or you know what's going to happen. You know, if you have older brothers, kinds of things that entails." And I didn't want that to happen. I'm stubborn. I didn't quit. And I made up for my lack of brain cells by outworking those around me as I progressed through undergraduate school and graduate school. Although I started in an open admissions, but literally open admissions, anybody who applied and lived in that county could get in. But my PhD, that's a doctorate, is from a highly selective research university. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And the race goes to those who just keep on trying. I will tell you that my first quarter, that was so long ago, we didn't have semesters, we had quarters. My first quarter GPA was 2.69. Nothing too amazing there, I would say, and in front of the faculty. Well, that was before grade inflation, so that was really a pretty good set of grades to get. But about halfway through that semester, I got 3 what were called down slips at that institution, meaning I had 3 classes I was failing. I was thinking about that and really not very happy about that. Not terribly surprised because I knew I wasn't doing my best, and I was sitting in a bench outside the student union, and one of my professors happened to be walking by. His name was Mr. Roberts. Didn't have a PhD, great guy, great instructor. And he said, "What's wrong, Dave?" And I said, "Oh, I got 3 down slips. I'm not doing so well." And he sat down by me. He said, "I've read some of your tests, some of your essay questions. Really would help if you'd read the book." He had a good point there. This is college. Books are important. You need to read them. but you're writing your answers to those essay questions. I think you can do this. And he encouraged me. That and the threat of going to Vietnam enabled me to pull my grades up. I had some other great professors at that institution that really took the time with me. And you're going to have great professors here that will know your name and take time with you. And you'll probably get back papers that you think they bled on because they write so much red stuff on it. But don't take it personally. They're trying to tell you what you need to know and what you can do to be better. This is my message to you today. You need to finish what you start. If you're an athlete and you leave here at the end of 4 or 5 years having used up your eligibility, but you haven't received a degree, even if you're a national champion, you failed. You're here to get a diploma. For the rest of you, the same thing is true. Your parents and others have sacrificed to make this possible for you. Don't let them down. Do your very best. Work hard. My other piece of advice is, if you want to succeed, show up. Show up. You or your parents or your financial aid are going to pay a lot of money for a bunch of classes. If you don't go to your classes, you're not going to learn what you need to learn. Show up, get to know your professors, develop a relationship with them. They'll want to spend time with you, but you can't walk in about right after midterm when you find out that maybe you're not doing as well as you thought you hoped you were doing, and expect at that point to be able to catch up. Paying your tuition and fees and not attending your classes is like buying groceries at the store and walking off and leaving them. So, I'm a working class kid. My father was a working man. He was actually the son of an Italian immigrant. Only spoke Italian until he was 5 years old. He never made more than $5,000 in any year that he worked. He usually worked 2 jobs to feed his family, 6 kids. But if this son of essentially an Italian immigrant from a working class family from a small town can become a university president, I have no doubt that every single one of you can complete your 4-year degree. Very best of luck to you here on your educational journey. I hope you fulfill all your hopes and dreams. Thanks.
Thank you, Chip Guy. It is it is indeed not where you start, it's where you finish. And our first guest speaker this morning is no finer example than that. I'd like to take a moment to introduce to you Dr. Mario Rivas. Dr. Rivas had humble beginnings, having been raised in a single-parent, welfare-assisted home. After failing his studies in community college, he later returned to college and earned his BA, master's degree, and PhD. He's currently a full-time professor of psychology at Merritt College in Oakland, California. And, faculty, forgive the secondary resource, who has seen The Sandlot? The movie The Sandlot, many of you. PF Flyers, make you run faster and jump higher. This gentleman, the faculty and staff had the privilege of listening to Mario Rivas speak this morning. He is the PF Flyers of guest speakers. If you don't leave this convocation with the ability to run faster and jump higher and learn better and be a better person and human being in general, then I don't know what to do with you. Please put your hands together for Dr. Mario Rivas.
Okay, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to ask you, how many of you that are sitting here, students, intend to graduate from Adams State University? Raise your hand. Raise your hand high. That's everybody here. Isn't that beautiful? Faculty and staff, how many of you are going to support them to achieve that goal? Look around you. Look around. Come on, look, turn your heads around. Is that beautiful? Now, here's your challenge. You have to create a community of powerful learners that indeed does that. Teachers and learners, each one of you wants to succeed. Now, let me ask you an honest question, because I'm going to share with you my background about being scared as a learner and flunking out of school and then getting a PhD, and being scared and getting a PhD. I'm going to talk a lot about fear. How many of you need to improve your self-discipline, honestly? Honestly. Raise your hand, honestly. Good, good. Did you see that? So we got to work on self-discipline. Now, faculty and staff, how many of you really need to improve your self-discipline? Raise your hand. Look around. So now what are you seeing? That this is an honest community. It's not a fake community. Now, in self-discipline, there's a word, good, and it's disciple. What does a disciple do? Somebody, one of the students, raise your hand, just like you're going to do in class. What does a disciple do? Somebody, come on, raise your hand. You got to raise. Oh, look at this now. Come on now. Okay, right here, young man. Okay, go ahead. What does a disciple do? They follow. Beautiful. Self-discipline. Disciple follows. Very good. What's your name? Danny. Thank you, Danny. Let's hear it for Danny. How'd that feel, Danny? How'd that applause feel? How did the applause feel? Fine? Okay. He's got applause, Danny. Cool, cool. Okay. In order to follow, what do you have to do? A disciple, in order to follow, what does he or she have to do? Raise your hand. Somebody, come on. Good. Pay attention. I love it. What's your name? Roman. Okay. Pay attention. And another one is related to that, listen. Right? Roman, you agree? Pay attention, listen. I'm going to ask you one more time. How many of you are going to graduate from ASU? If you're your own disciple, you listen to yourself and you follow yourself and you do what you say. And your mind becomes powerful and you live a more productive, happy, beautiful life. How many people want that? There you go. Come on, yeah. But you get, how many of you get this? You have to be your own disciple. You have to listen to yourself. You can't just raise your hand here just because you want to raise it. You have to raise your hand and say, damn, I'm raising my hand. I must mean something. And then you have to go to class, as the president says, and you have to listen. And when you're scared to learning, what do you have to do? Somebody raise your hand and tell me. When you're scared, how many of you honestly are a little scared about getting in front of a class and talking? Honestly. Good. So when you're scared, what do you want? How many of you want to graduate? How many of you need to speak better? Then that means you got to come up. You say you want to graduate, you got to do stuff that's going to challenge yourself. Okay, now I'm going to start with a quote now. Finally, where's this clicker? Where's the clicker? Right here. Good. Everybody is born unique. How many people agree with that here? Raise your hand. Beautiful. Everybody, huh? Now, faculty and staff. How many people agree with that? Everybody's born. Look around. Okay, now here's the second half of the quote. Everybody is born unique, but most of us die copies. Ooh. I'm going to come to the edge of the podium. Ooh, that's kind of trippy to come to the edge of the podium when you're giving the talk and you're nervous. How many people agree with that? Everybody's born unique, but most of us die copies. How many people agree with that one? Raise your hands high, and even the faculty and staff. Now look around. There's a lot of people, right? Now here's the third one. How many of you want to die a copy? Raise your hand. Nobody. If everybody's born unique and most of us die copies, you already raised your hand. Why do we die copies? What's the four-letter word that describes why we die a copy? Somebody, raise your hand, one of the students. Come on. Right here, what's your name? Yeah, I know. She says, yeah. She says, I came to Adams State, somebody talked to me. What's your name? Yes, you. Jamie. What's the reason why people die copies instead of maintaining their uniqueness? Don't know? Okay, but they're fake. Good, they're fake. But why are they fake? Good help. That's the way to help. Why are you fake? Go ahead. Fear. What's your name? Alex, come on up here. Big hand for Alex. I'm going to teach Alex how to do salsa. You know how to dance salsa, Alex? Woo! Look at him. So fear, beautiful. How many people like the fact that he came up here? Is that nice? Yeah. How many of you want to come up here? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you How many of you don't want to come up here? Raise your hand. Okay, that's what I'm going to call on. So, if you're born unique, how does fear make you a copy? At Adam's state, if you raise your hand and say you want to graduate, is that unique for you? That's you being you, right? How does fear stop you from achieving that uniqueness? Talk to him. Here, use the mic right here, Alex. Not a big, long talk. We've only got a limited amount of time. Go ahead.
You're afraid to stand out?
Good. Just get close.
You're afraid to stand out?
He said you're afraid to stand out. How many people agree? Good. Now let me come here. What does it feel like when we stand out? What does our body say to us when we stand out?
Don't stand out.
Yes, but how does it feel? Come over here. How does it look? How does your body look when you're saying don't stand out? How do you feel? How do you feel in your arms?
Jiggly.
Jiggly? How do you feel in your legs? Wobbly. Jiggly and wobbly. Remember, Alex, jiggly and wobbly. And how do you feel in your throat? Yeah. Like tense. And you want to stand up, you say no, and you don't want to, and you don't, and all that is because you're afraid of standing out, and people will do what?
Laugh at you.
Beautiful. No, say it loud.
Laugh at you?
Did everybody hear that? How many people have experienced that? You're sitting in the classroom, raise your hands high, and you're scared people will laugh at you. The faculty, oh look at the faculty are raising their hands too. Raise your hand. You, the faculty, have to make the classroom so students can get past that fear. You, the students, have to not laugh at each other. Does that make sense? Okay, when you're funny. But I'm not talking about when people make mistakes. How many of you want to support each other to be unique and not copies? Raise your hands high. Do it in the classroom. Faculty, remember this. This is what they're saying. Follow that lead.
Should
Oh,
I
yeah.
go now? Or?
I don't know. I want to know if I... Let's hear it for Alex. Thank you. Fear. Fear is the major factor that leads to... Here's my story. I'm going to tell you my story of fear through hope to confidence. Okay? My parents came from Costa Rica. My first language is Spanish. I never saw my father after I was 7 because my father, see my face change? See my face change? Here's my father in me. In fact, I'm scared to get too close to the edge now with my father in me. He might push me over. But he hit my mother, he hit my brother and me. And what feeling did I have with my father? Tell me what feelings I had with my father. Just come on, students. Yes. What's that? Anger, good. But he was over 6 feet tall. Could I do anything with that anger? No. So what feelings did I have? Scared. Fear. Fear, scared, and fear. Synonyms. Okay? Yes. Hatred. Whew. Damn. I got to shake that one off. Is it good to hate your father? No. Man, I think I did, though. I never saw him again after I was 7. Never, ever again. My mother took us away. She didn't know how to speak English. She was a maid. All she could do was clean the houses. So she was a live-in housemaid. She couldn't keep us. So my brother and I had to go to boarding school at St. Vincent's School for boys, for poor kids from broken homes. The first night I showed up there, my brother and I, he was 11 months older than me, they put him in one dorm, they put me in another dorm. And I showed up and I said, "Yo quiero mamá." So what did I say? Say, yeah, I want my mom. So how did that little boy Mario feel? So, okay, let's give me some people in the back. I'm going to come out. Go ahead. Sad. Beautiful. Thank you. What's your name? Say it loud. Caleb. Okay, sad. What's another feeling that I felt there at that school? Over here. Come on. Yes. Stand up tall. Stand up. Come on. Stand up. Come on. Disappointment. Thank you. Your name? Aspen. Tissa, I hope I don't spell this one wrong. Okay, now my mother gets us out on welfare, $40 a month, that's what we got. She raised my brother and me in a little apartment in North Oakland. That's where I met Tommy in the 5th grade. That's the truth. We went to school, elementary school and high school together. And I want to show you. Okay, Tommy, I'm going to sit up there. How many of the students know what a gerund is? Raise your hand. A gerund. Oh, there he is, huh? To a few. How many don't know what a gerund is? Raise your hand. Okay, there you go. Now, I didn't in the 6th grade either, and I tried to pick up the book, and I couldn't understand it, and my mother would be cooking rice and beans and hamburger. We were really poor, but I loved it. Man, I love my mother. How many of you love your mother? Or the person that took care of you, because some of us didn't have a mother like I didn't have a father, right? And I couldn't say to her, Mom, what's a gerund? She didn't know how to speak English. And I couldn't say to her, Mamá, ¿qué es un gerundio? Because I didn't know how to say that in Spanish. So I would put the book down, I'd go out and play basketball. I made All-Star in Oakland. I mean, because I was raised in the black part of Oakland, in Mosswood Park, and every day my brother and I would spend about 12 hours there. And that's the truth about school. If you want to graduate, you want to be competent, spend a lot of time, like the president said, studying. That's how come I became good in all sports. So, but I didn't know gerund. So next day I'm going to school. How do I feel going to school when I don't know something? Raise your hand. How do I feel? I don't know. I don't understand. Yes. Insecure. Thank you very much. What's your name? Amber. Amber. Insecure. Good. Another one. How did I feel going to school? Yes. Nervous. Thank you. Nervioso in Spanish. How many people speak Spanish can relate to that word nervioso? Nervous. Thank you. And your name? Wyatt? Wyatt. There's some bad name people in here. Wyatt. Hold it. What'd you say, Wyatt? Nervous. Nervioso. Nervous. Okay, nervous. Now, here's what I'd do. I'd go to school. How much time I got left? Good. I got 5 minutes left. And I'd sit behind Tommy, and Tommy loved me. Everybody loved to play basketball with me. I say, sit up tall, Tommy. Taller. And I would go like this. Ah, they're laughing. Huh? That laughing means, oh, I know what that feels like. What was I doing there? Say it loud. Okay, I want all the students to say, hiding. Now, 1, 2, 3. Hiding. Beautiful. Beautiful. Who was I hiding from? Teacher. Who else? Who? I didn't have a girlfriend. Too short. I didn't have a mustache yet. No. Who else was I hiding from? I was hiding from me. You got me? I was hiding from me being unique and using my mind. Listen up to me. I was hiding from using my voice and from saying, I don't understand, will you please teach me? Are you going to hide this year at Adams State when you don't understand something? Are you going to sit there and hide behind some... I saw you going up and down like that. How many of you have hid before? Yeah, well, you got to change that. Is it scary not to hide, to put yourself, say, I don't understand? What are the other people in class going to say, think about you when you say, I don't understand? Could you explain that to me? What are they going to think? What might they think? What? Come on. Man, this kid's what? This kid doesn't pay attention or isn't going to make it or hasn't got it. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I had that scared little boy in me. Now here's one of the main points I want to make to you, is each one of us, I'm a psychologist, and I was Associate Dean of San Francisco State, and I was scared. When I accepted to my PhD, I had nightmares for 6 days, and I went to a counseling psychologist, a psychiatrist, and I found out that the dreams that I was having, the nightmares, were dreams of being afraid of my father. How many have ever been, people have been chased by a monster in a dream? Yeah, that was being chased by a monster dream. I can't go to Minnesota. I can't live like this. but I went and found out about myself and I let go of my fear. Has everybody got that? Each one of you is going to face fear in the classroom, on the sports field, wherever, talking to each other. Support each other to be powerful. How many of you are going to support each other to be powerful here at Adams State University? Raise your hand. Come on. You've got to create how many of you are going to support them to be powerful at Adams State? Now here's the last thing I want to say. Amy Cuddy gives a great talk. You want to look at it. It's in TED Talks. Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y. And she says, our body speaks our mind. She did research where she put a pencil in people's mouths for 2 minutes, and then, because that's like smiling, their testosterone level went up. She had them stand like this, and their testosterone level went up. She had them stand like this, and their testosterone level went up. Testosterone level, hormone for both men and women, relates to confidence. How many of you want to be confident here? So you got to pay attention to your body in the classroom. You don't want to sit, you don't want to hide. You want to watch how you're sitting. This posture right here is associated with cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and it stops you from thinking clearly. This posture is associated with testosterone and it makes you confident. Your brain is what makes you unique, and you've got to learn to use it. Now I want to start now. I want to end our talk right now. I want you all to stand. This is the last thing. I've got 5 minutes? I do? I thought you said I had. I thought he told me I had 5 minutes a little while ago. Okay, good. I can take a sip of water then. Who needs to improve? I know, I'm going to do it more. Roman, right? Go ahead, Roman. Nice name, Roman. Okay, let's stand. Let's stand. Come on, all the students at Adams State University. And stand and say, now I want you to follow me. Have your hands up. Does it feel pretty good to have your hands up like that? When blind people, listen up, students. You got to pay attention. Listen up, keep them up. When blind people win a race, they've never seen that, their arms go up. Why do their arms go up? Because we are born to be powerful. Each one of you is unique and is born to be powerful. Now, I want you to, with your arms, to say, I will be here next year. I will be here next year. Come on, I want some energy. I will be here next year. I will be here next year. Beautiful. Now, don't sit down just yet. I will be unique and succeed the way I want to succeed. I will be unique and succeed the way I want to succeed. Faculty, stand up. You stay up, you stay up. Hands up. We will support you to succeed. Okay, sit down. Very good, come on. Okay, now here I got 4 minutes. Who here needs to be better at speaking before groups? Come on. Okay, good, right there. Right there, come on up. Big hand, beautiful. And I'm telling you, when I did my PhD, I freaked out. And my little boy was scared, but I got help. The faculty and staff are here to help you be powerful. Your name?
Maria.
Maria. ¿Cómo estás, Maria?
Muy bien, ¿y usted?
Muy bien, gracias. Muy bien. So 0 to 100, where are you in ability to speak powerfully before groups? 0 is no skill, 100, perfect.
About a 20.
She's about a 20. Whoa. Where would you like to be?
At 100.
Okay, this is what you're doing at Adams State in writing, in math, quantitative reasoning. This is what you're doing in speaking before groups. You got me? This is your development, 0 to 100. What are some skills that you need? What are some skills that you need to develop as a speaker?
Self-confidence.
Oh, look at that, self-confidence, she says. But isn't that interesting? See how her body did that? Self-confidence. So you need to go up there when you speak and stand like that. Does that make sense? You like that? Look at her. What's another skill that you need? Communication, but that means clarity, right? How about loudness? Loud. What's a couple more skills that you need to have in order to speak more effectively before groups? Come on. Experience, good. Practice. Patience, good. Patience with yourself, good. So this is what you're going to do at Adams State this year. Anytime you say, I'm not doing as well as I can, what skill do I need? You got me? Now, how does your body feel when you think about going up before groups? I'm almost finished, I got it.
Nervous.
Nervous. Listen to her. Remember, it's like, who else came up? I forgot already now.
Alex.
Alex, thank you very much. She remembers. And where do you feel nervous? You see her lean this way? Where do you feel nervous? In your shoulders, in your legs, in her hands? She starts doing this. You got it? Then she wants to hide them. Can you see yourself with a little girl feeling nervous like that?
Yeah.
How old is she?
5.
5. She looks down 5. And where is she? Where is she?
Hiding.
Hiding. Where is she hiding? You don't have to tell me all of it. Is she at home or at school?
School.
School. Where is she sitting?
In the back.
In the back. You got it? How many of you want, tell me one more time.
Maria.
How many of you want, Mario, I should remember that. How many of you want to support Maria to move up to 100? Come on, raise your hand. Big round of applause. Okay, let's go. Maria, you can do it. You say, I will do it.
I will do it.
No, loud, come on.
I will do it.
Let's go. Good, somebody take a photograph. This is a photo wall. Where's the photo? Listen, this is what you got the point? This is what you're doing here, developing your power. Don't back away. Did Maria back away? Are you going to back away? Are you going to be here next year? Yes. Rock on to it then, brothers and sisters. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you.
Mario and I, as he said, we went to school together from the 5th grade all the way through high school. And we were both told that we were not college material. And one day I was sitting in my office, and one of my students came in and said, there's somebody on the phone for you. And I said, I'm busy right now. Who's on the phone? He said, well, he called you Tommy Brown. They call me Tommy Brown. Is it my mother? I said, no, it's Dr. Mario Rivas. And I said, Dr. Mario Rivas? The only Mario Rivas I know is a little gangster from North Oakland.
I was a little thug. I was.
Now when we talk to people, now we say, we're not thugs anymore, we're OGs. Older gentlemen. You know, part of, you know, when I think about the theme, Roman, stand up so I can see the, oh, you don't have the t-shirt on. Who's got the t-shirt on? Stand up, let me see the t-shirt. Stand up. Nope, I want to see the back of the t-shirt. What does it say? It says, you are who you want to be. Actually, the theme of our talk is you are becoming who you want to be. That's what you're doing here at Adams State University. And the first thing I want to do is I want to congratulate, who are the freshmen, who are the first-year students? I want you to stand up. Stand up, first-year students. Yeah. I want you to give yourselves a big round of applause because you made it. You know, for a lot of you, the journey to Adams State University began before you were born. Because there are parents in the house today, and when you were a baby, they knew that someday this would come. Someday they would be sitting, that you would be sitting here, and they would be grateful that you had made it. Let me ask you this question. How many of you feel your parents have been hard on you? Raise your hands. Yeah, let me be clear. It's not about you, it's about them. They want you to be able to take care of yourself so you can move out, they can rent out your room, and run around the house naked again. I know, I should say, you know, I was a dean at the age of 22. Actually, I was an assistant dean at the age of 22. And I spent 24 years talking to new students at orientation. And part of what I'm going to talk to you about today is some of what they told me they heard that I said to them over those 24 or 25 years. Before I do that, how many transfer students are in the house? Let's ask the transfer students to stand up. Stand up, transfer students. And we want to really give it up for the transfer students because they have either chosen to transfer from someplace else or to leave someplace else in order to come to a better place. So part of what I want to talk to you about today is, looking at, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Well, part of it is that you paid the price to get here. You worked hard. Some of you worked harder than others. You worked hard, and you put in the work that you need to be here. And one of the things that we really want to really highlight is that you're capable of doing college-level work. When I used to talk to students at orientation every year, I used to tell them, college is no more difficult than high school, despite what they used to tell us when I was a student. They'd always say things like, well, if you had a B average in high school, you're going to have a C average in college. Well, I was listening to the president over here say his first semester grade point average is 2.6, and I was saying, that sounds pretty good to me, But part of what we want to say is that you are capable of doing college-level work. The difference is you're going to have to manage your own time. There aren't any bells at Adams State. You miss class, a lot of teachers don't take attendance. They don't need to. It's one less paper to grade, one less test to correct. You already got your money. So part of it is you're going to have to take responsibility for yourself in order to be successful. The second piece, the ASU faculty and staff want you to succeed. I'm going to ask the ASU faculty and staff, do you believe they can succeed? Yes! We believe. That was weak. I want to do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Do you believe they can succeed? Yes! We believe you can succeed. That's really very powerful because, as the president said, when I started college, there was a guy who got up in front and said, look to your left, look to your right, two of you won't be here next year. The faculty said yes. This place is about helping you to succeed. But part of it is that you're going to have to do, it's a shared responsibility, and you're going to have to do your part. It's a shared responsibility, and you're going to have to do your part. The faculty are there. The beautiful thing about being at a small university like this is you actually are not a number. There are classrooms in this country on campuses that are larger than the group of students who are sitting here. Classrooms where the closest you'll get to the teacher is the big TV set in the front of the room. And when you go to talk to the instructor, he or she won't even talk to you. You say, well, go talk to the TA. Here, you have access to the faculty, but you're going to have to go to them. They're going to be there for you, but you're going to have to go to them. It's a shared responsibility. Success equals commitment plus determination. How many of you are committed and determined to be successful? Amen. But the part we forget very often is it's hard work. It's hard work over time. There's a book that came out several years ago. It's called Outliers. It's by a guy named Malcolm Gladwell. And he said that if you're going to be successful at something, you have to put in 10,000 hours of work. 10,000 hours of practice. Because you're not competing against students at Colorado State University. You're not competing against students at the University of Oregon. You're competing against students from India and China and Singapore who work hard, so they can get a job paying $200 a month. So they can get a job paying $200 a month. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to work hard in order to be successful. I always like to tell a story. I was at St. Mary's College of California for 28 years. And we were in the West Coast Conference. And there was a team in the West Coast Conference called Loyola Marymount. And Loyola Marymount had the leading scorer in the nation, leading scorer and rebounder in the nation, a guy named Hank Gathers. And at the end of the season, his homeboy from Philadelphia came into the locker room and announced that next year he was going to lead the nation in scoring. Now, is that pretty bold? I'm not going to lead the team in scoring. I'm not going to lead the conference in scoring. I'm going to lead the nation in scoring. His name was Bo Kimball. He went back to Philly, and every day he shot 1,000 baskets. And what do you think your arm feels like after a day of shooting 1,000 baskets? It's falling off. What do you think is worse the next day going out and shooting 1,000 baskets? You can't even lift your arm. He did it for 90 days during that summer. He did it for 90 days during the summer, 90,000 baskets. And at the end of the year, he led the nation in scoring because he was willing to put in the hard work that it takes to live, to make a dream like that, make a challenge like that, and then to achieve it. Well, what I'm going to talk about briefly this morning is what students told me they heard and remembered from the talks that I gave to them at orientation. I actually was giving a keynote address at a national conference about 11 years ago, and I decided that the title of the keynote was going to be Advice That Mattered. What do students hear and remember? And what I actually did through the magic of Google is I tracked down students going back 24, 25 years. And I asked them a really simple question. What do you remember that I said to you? Now that could be a very humbling experience because they could say, who are you anyway? But what they said is, if you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. And that's what the president is saying. That's what Mario is saying. Some of you are here to learn to engage people from different backgrounds. You're here to graduate. Some of you are here to play sports. You're here to graduate. Some of you are here because your parents want you to be here. You're here to graduate. And if you lose sight of that, and it's so easy to lose sight of that, the major challenge for first-year students is time management. Because what happens is when you're in high school, you're in class 35 hours a week. Now you're in college, you're in class, 12, 14 hours a week? Never did I encounter a student who said, hey, I'm only in class 12, 14 hours a week, more time to study. Most of them said, more time to sleep, sleep late, get to watch the novellas live. I get to watch ESPN Sports Center when it's still new on the East Coast. Then what they would find themselves doing, because what happens in college is they tell you, you've got a paper due 3 weeks from now. So, well, great, I'm going to start on it next week. And the next week comes and practice interferes, your sweetheart from home comes to visit you. You say, well, that's all right, because I still got a week to work on this paper. And Sunday comes, you say, whoa, Sunday night, football. That's all right, I'll start working on the paper on Monday night. I didn't realize the Niners and the Seahawks were playing on Sunday night. I'm going to start on Monday night. Monday night comes. Damn, the Broncos are playing tonight. That's right, I'm going to start on Tuesday night. I got Tuesday night. That's like 5 days to get this assignment done. Wednesday comes. There's a nice little party in the residence. Oh, that's all right, I still got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday comes, I forgot I got to read that 100 pages for that class. That's all right, I still got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, the party. Saturday night, Saturday, oh man. That's all right, I got all day tomorrow to get that paper done. And you know the stress that you're feeling because most of you have been there before. It's a choice that you make. Whether you succeed in college is going to be the result of the choices that you make. When you're in high school, and you're taking courses you don't like, it's not your fault. When you're in college and you're taking courses you don't like, it's because you haven't put in the time and effort to find out what is available. How many of you, when you go to a new restaurant, read the menu? And why do you read the menu? I don't know what's on the menu. And so you read the menu so you can know what's on the menu. Well, let me ask you this question. How many of you read the catalog from Adams State University? I'm talking cover to cover. Well, then you're like going, you can't order in a restaurant unless you read the menu. You can't make academic decisions unless you read the menu. You know, so what happens with a lot of students? They come to college and they kind of say, well, what's the secret of success? And I used to ask students this, and they would come up with all kinds of things. And I said, well, once there was the richest man in the world was a guy named Andrew Carnegie. And this guy came up to him on the street, and he said, I've got the secret of success, and if you'll give me $1 million, I'll give it to you. Carnegie said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You write it down on a piece of paper, you give it to me. If it's worth $1 million, I'll give it to you. The guy wrote it down on a piece of paper. Carnegie took it, looked at it, folded it up, put it in his pocket, wrote the guy a check for $1 million. He said the secret of success is every day make a list of the things you have to do and do them. Make a list of the things you have to do and do them. And make a list of the things you need to do first. You know, one of the things that my students said they remembered is when you're in high school, you're in class 35 hours a week, from 8 to 3. From 8 to 3, you can't go party. You can't go shopping. You can't hang out. You got to be in school. When you're in college, if you are between the hours of 8 and 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, that's 35 hours a week. Take away your 12 hours of study, that's 23 hours a week to study. And you know what? Between 8 and 3, the library's quiet. Between 8 and 3, the residence halls are quiet. Between 8 and 3, there are no parties going on. And when you get your work done at 3 or 4 o'clock, nighttime, let's enjoy Adams State University and all that it has to offer. It's making a list of the things you have to do and doing them. The second, I got good news and I got bad news. First, the good news. How many of you were not 4.0 students in high school? Beautiful. The good news is it doesn't matter anymore. How many of you were 4.0 students in high school? The not so good news is it doesn't matter anymore. No one is ever going to ask you what your high school grades were. As a matter of fact, when you graduate and you go out into the world, no one's ever going to really ask you what your grades are. You know, my wife used to teach freshman composition, and students used to come in all the time. You know, they'd download a paper from the internet, they'd borrow a paper, they would turn it in. They would get an A. She'd say, "Whoa, you really fooled me." Not really, because when you go out in the world, your boss is not going to ask you what grade you got in freshman composition. All she's going to want to know is, can you write? And when you turn in that report that she needs to give to the board of directors this afternoon, and it's poorly written because you were downloading papers from the internet to get the A's, she's not going to say, "So what were your grades in freshman composition?" And she's not going to take your paper and mark it up and say, "I've made some corrections here, and I'd like you to take it over to the tutorial office and work on it." She's going to take your report, throw it up, put it in the trash, and you'll probably be looking for another job. It's no longer about grades, it's about learning. So whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. But the key point is, I had students with 580 SAT scores. I think today that'd be like an 870 SAT score, who went on to Notre Dame Law School. I had students who came in with 1.9 grade point averages because in high school, they played every sport there was to play, who went on and became chiefs of staff to congresspeople because when they got to college, they got it right. You know, it really isn't your aptitude, it's your attitude that determines the altitude you will achieve. Whether you have a positive attitude, whether you're willing to reach out to people, whether you're willing to raise your hand and say, "You know what, I don't understand it." Because how often do you sit in class and the teacher's going to say, "Does everybody get that?" And you look around, nobody's hand goes up, but everybody else is looking around and nobody else's hand going up, to have the courage to say, "Yeah, I don't get it." Because that's what learning is about. You know, this is a question I'm very often asked. How long do I need to study? The UCLA does a report on first-year students every year, and the report came out yesterday, and it showed that most students who graduate from high school spend less than 5 hours a week studying. And so they get to college, and maybe some of you have already heard it, what's the great myth of how long you need to study in college? I heard a lot. Somebody said 2 hours. And you very often hear that. 2 hours for every hour you spend in class. No, you want to study it until you know it. You want to study it until you know it. I used to get students coming to me all the time, and they say, you know, Dean Brown, I'm dealing with this accounting class, and I'm really struggling. They say, how much are you studying? Well, I'm studying 2 hours a night. How about 3 hours? 3 hours? Nobody said anything about 3 hours. You know? So it's about studying it until you know it. And that's what Mario is talking about with this 0 to 100%. It basically is saying, I understand this at 80. I understand this at 80. And then when I go to take my test, all I'm doing is checking to see if what I think my level of understanding is, in fact, is my level of understanding. Does that make sense? And if you understand it at 80, the byproduct is you're going to get a B or C. But how many of you got A grades in high schools in classes that you understood 40%, 50%? That's it. Again, when you get out in the world, it doesn't matter what your grades are, it's what you can do. Mario talked about fear. And fear is really critical. I used to be the faculty moderator for our women's basketball team at St. Mary's. St. Mary's was a fairly small college, only 2,000 students, but we played D1 basketball. And I remember once we were going up against Stanford. Stanford was number 9 in the country. And when they went to play Stanford, I told the women on the team, you know what, when you go to face Stanford, it's all right to be afraid. Because without fear, there can be no courage. And it's going to take courage to do what you have to do. They beat Stanford by 20 at Stanford. They didn't invite us back to play them anymore. You know, but it is. It's, you know, courage is really, there are going to be times here when you're afraid, but you're going to have the courage to move on. The president, it's like he read my notes. What do students remember? $100 a class. Not $100 a course, $100 a class. That's what it costs to go to Adams State University. And how do I get to that? Well, tuition's about $17,000. But there's something that's called foregone earnings. And foregone earnings are money you're not making because you're at Adams State University. Does that make sense? And even if you were working for $10 an hour, 40 hours a week, you'd be making 21 grand. So it actually cost you $38,000 a year to go to Adams State University. And you break it down, you know, that means that you take 8 classes a year, that's $4,750 a course. Every course meets about 40 hours a semester. It's actually $118 a class. So when you decide to sleep in, take a $100 bill and light it up. When you decide that, you know, you really don't want to go to class today, take a $100 bill and light it up. When you decide you want to hit the slopes a little early this weekend, take a $100 bill and light it up. So it's $100 a class. And it's not just money, it's your time, it's an investment in your future. You know, that what they also remember, seek to find, find your passion. Everybody tells you that, find your passion. You know, but try to find a major that you enjoy. And recognize that, you know, what you major in is not going to determine the careers that will or will not be open to you. I was a pre-law advisor. I'd always get students coming in, I'd say, so why are you majoring in political science? Because I want to go to law school. Why are you majoring in political science? Because I want to go to law school. Why are you majoring in political science? Don't you need to major in? No, you don't need to major in political science to go to law school. You want to work in the world of business? Yeah, it's probably important to have a class in accounting. It's probably important to have a class in economics so you understand how the economic system works, but it's probably more important to be able to speak in front of a group, oral communications. It's probably even more important that you're able to deal with uncertainty. It's probably more important that you're able to deal with people from different backgrounds. It's probably more important that you're able to speak a language. What you major in doesn't determine what you're going to do. And aren't these the 3 questions for first-year students? What's your name? Where are you from? What's your major? You know, I mean, it's like automatic. And I was talking to Scott yesterday, who's from Hawaii. He's going to be a senior. And I said, oh, now you're a senior. What's the question you get asked when you're a senior? Well, what are you going to do now? And I told him what I used to tell my students to say, when adults ask you that, when people ask you that question, say, I don't know, why? Are you looking for ideas? You don't need to know what you're going to do now. So, you know, in the fall of 2013, UCLA surveyed first-year students like yourselves. And they asked them, what are the chances are that you're going to change your major? 12.9% think they're going to change their major. 12.6% think they're going to change their career choice. The reality is 75% of students change their major at least once before they graduate. Because a lot of times they've declared a major based on what they think something is. And it's not, I always say college is not going to just try to help you think, it's going to help you move from thinking to knowing. And how many of you believe knowledge is power? How many of you believe knowledge is power? So this guy's giving me a trick question. Knowledge is not power. Because there are a whole lot of people who know, but they don't do. Power is acting on what you know. So it's not just a major, it's really a field of study that you're looking for. You ever notice that they're going to charge you the same thing here for your major courses as they do for your general education courses and your elective courses? It's not just because they can, it's because they believe they have comparable value. So when you're thinking about developing a major, general education requirements, the ability to speak a second language. The best preparation for law school is to take a course in accounting, to take a course in the philosophy department in logic, to take a course in calculus, not to take business law or to take constitutional law. And then you put together your general education courses with your electives and your co-curricular studies. Does that make sense? So it's not just a major, it's a field of study. For most of you, you're going to find out I was an English major. Took 120 units to graduate from the University of Southern California. The English major involved 40 units. The other 80 units are really what have made me in my life, not the 40 units I took in English. So the question you really want to ask yourself when you're going through academic advising is not what courses do I want to take. The question you want to ask yourself is what I call big enough questions. How do I want to live my life? What do I want to do with my one wild and precious life? And what can I do here at Adams State University to help me move toward that? And that's going to take time, that's going to take effort, that's going to mean going back and going through that catalog, page by page, almost like a restaurant menu. The guys have 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, no stars. You go through the catalog like that, a lot of the courses are going to be no stars. But what you're really looking for, or where are your 3 and 2 star courses clustered? That's where your passion is. That's where your interest is, and that's the process you want to go through to try to select classes. Mario President Savaldi talked about taking criticism. You don't just want to take criticism, you want to demand criticism, and then you want to use criticism to get better, not bitter. It's not personal. The faculty here trying to help you become everything you can become. When my wife was a professor in English, she always got students who came in and say, I had all A's in my high school English classes. And you know what she said? Somebody lied to you. Somebody lied to you. And I'm not going to lie to you. Because when you get out in the world, nobody's going to ask you what grade you got. All they're going to want to know is what can you do. And the other piece, and Mario talked about this, and the president talked about this. They ask faculty, what are the skills students need in order to be successful in college? Of course, they had reading and writing and language. But the big one was they said students have to understand that failure is a part of learning. It's not how far you fall, it's how high you bounce. And when we were children, we knew that failure was a part of learning. How many times does a baby fall down before she gives up trying to learn how to walk? Never. And if you have little brothers and sisters, all you need to do is watch them say their ABCs. It's kind of like, I saw that smile come in your face, kind of like, A, B, C, D, L, M, N, O, P, what do you think of me? As that child understands failure is a part of learning. I'm not going to test you, but I bet all of you know your ABCs. That's because at some point you failed and you persisted. It's a part of learning. So, what they remember. If you're going to dream big dreams. Little dreams have no magic. There's nothing more powerful than to do what people tell you you can't do. But finally, the American University campus is one of the few places on earth where as many people from as many different backgrounds come together for a common purpose. There are actually students on our campuses whose countries are at war with each other. We have students on our campuses whose neighborhoods are at war with each other. Crip, Blood, Norteño, Sureño, but they come to campus for a common purpose. The only place that is as diverse as the American campus is the American workplace. And that's where you're going. That's where you're going. So part of what you want to do is when you ask those students, when they ask first-year students, what are the things that are important to you? What are the things you want to do while you're in college? This is what they say. I want to improve my understanding of other cultures. I want to socialize with people of other racial and ethnic groups. And yet, most of them never do that. Most of them never do that. You know, but I think it's 56% of seniors at ASU believe their experiences here did help them. Well, in the same way that Mario says 0 to 100, 56 is not bad, but what would it take to get that up to 80 or 90? And that's part of the work that you want to do while you're here at Adams State. 2 minutes. So it's really looking, you know, why does diversity matter? It's not just political correctness. It's because the world you're going to be working in is really going to be interconnected. It's going to be made up of all kinds of different people. And you're going to have to be able to engage people from backgrounds that are different than your own. That's going to be a critical skill in the future as you go out. So, and it's not always going to be comfortable. It's not always going to be comfortable because a lot of you come to campus, you know, with beliefs that your parents have given you about how the world is. And what's going to happen when you get into your classrooms is you're going to find that a lot of what you've been told about how the world is isn't how the world is at all. And that's going to be a major challenge, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But part of what you want to do while you're in college is you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, because what happens is you get out of your comfort zone and then you jump right back in it. What you want to do is stretch your comfort zone so that you're capable of dealing with more people from more different backgrounds. And you know, stretching your comfort zone, a couple things. Learn a language or 2 languages. You know, what do you call somebody who speaks 2 languages? What do you call somebody who speaks 3 languages? What do you call somebody who speaks many languages? What do you call somebody who speaks 1 language? An American. You know, the rest of the world, students, I had a woman on our basketball team from Finland, she spoke 7 languages. We have Aussies on our team. Australia is very much like the United States. He speaks 3 languages. Learn to speak another language. Reach out to international students on campus to show them what it's like to get into an American home. International students come here expecting to connect with American students. Most of them never get into an American home. You know, take classes about cultures other than your own. You know, take classes about cultures other than your own. Participate in service learning. Get involved in the community so that you have the opportunity to engage other people. Invite friends outside your identity group to come to social events with you, to give them the opportunity to connect, but in some cases, to give them the opportunity to experience what it means to be a minority. And finally, challenge racist, sexist, and homonegative comments. And that's really hard to do. You know, last week I was with my granddaughter on a camping trip. And as we were driving home, she said that her uncle was using a homophobic term, and she challenged him on it. And he really kind of jammed her. I said, hey, you're not trying to change him. All you're trying to do is let him know, I don't like that language. And maybe he'll care enough about you to stop using that kind of language. You know, the reality is that most people think when they're confronted with racism or sexism or homophobia that they're going to take a stand. But it's really hard to take a stand, and what most people do is they do absolutely nothing. And what you have to do if you're going to make this world a better place is to stand up. You have to be courageous enough, to be bold enough to create unum from the pluribus at ASU and beyond. And finally, what my students remembered is that tassel is worth the hassle. So I want to wish you well as you begin your journeys at Adams State University. Go Grizzlies. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I believe, thank you, wait. Thank you very much, because you want to realize, I really appreciate that. I think that's for Mario too, and I really want to say, we're the only thing standing between you and lunch, so go out there into the rain. You think I have a rain barbecue? How many of you are from Seattle? Very good. That's not rain, is it? Go eat. Have a great one. Thank you very much.
There's a few more things.
Up, a few more things. Jump to the mic. Thanks a lot.
So we're going to do the pinning ceremony now. So why doesn't everybody please rise? And on the corner of your program, you will find a pin. Could you please take that pin off? And thank you for the lights. There's a part in your program that says affirmations, and if you want to follow along with me there. Adams State University is a community of learners and scholars. Choosing to be a part of this community involves a conscious commitment to uphold this community's values and expectations. As a member of this community, I will embrace these affirmations so as to support the freedom of the entire Adams State community. Please repeat after me. I will practice academic integrity. I will relate to others with civility and respect. I will learn from differences in people and experiences, and will value the contributions each member adds to this community. I will uphold the citizenship as a responsible member of Adams State University community. In the tradition of Adams State University, I will strive for excellence and encourage it to others. Go ahead and pin this pin on yourself. Give yourself a big round of applause. Congratulations, you're college students. Go Grizzlies!
Please remain standing while I invite to the stage Victoria Ricci, senior vocal performance major, to lead us in the singing of our alma mater.
Everybody ready? Because I expect you to sing too. Yeah? Okay. Oh.